Team Fortress 2 brings in the Mannpower, Smite breaks World Championship prize pool records, Tree of Savior updates us on closed beta testing and confirms being free to play, and EQ Next Landmark introduces PvE, caves, layers, and more. What's happening, guys? James Blon here with MMOHuts.com with a super quick mini weekly recap for MMO news and announcements for the holiday week ending December 29th, 2014. Seeing that all of the game devs and publishers were out this past week for the holiday, news this week is a bit scarce, but not absent. So starting out the news, we see this new announcement video from Hi-Rez Studios indicating that Smite's World Championship prize pool passed up the $2 million mark. In fact, since they posted this new video, it's actually gaining on the $2.5 million mark now at just over $2.4 million. And although that doesn't even come close to Dota 2's 2014 international prize pool of $10 million, Smite has now surpassed the 2014 League of Legends World Championship prize pool of $2.13 million. Way to go, Smite. And of course, they had some help doing it. This year, instead of just special skins to aid the prize pool funding, they used the new Odyssey system, which is a 21-week-long event selling items and special premium skins based off of different locations and mythologies each week. So with the Odyssey system, the prize pool increased by $1 every 200 gems used to buy Odyssey items. In the final stretch before the World Championships on January 9th, hopefully they can boost that 2.4 million even closer to 3. Next up, as just a little reminder, H1Z1 is headed to early access fairly soon on January 15th, 2015 via Steam Early Access. And this early access is still pretty much an early closed beta in terms of development. It's designed for players to take part in shaping the game as the developers work in the game side by side with its players. So, just like EverQuest Next Landmark, the game will have an early access price of $20 in order to get in. However, I'm also sure that there'll be times when they give away access similar to what they've done in the past with Landmark. Now, the game will probably be in early access for a while, ironing out and building on the game, but for launch of early access, players can expect to see initial iterations of the crafting, base building, combat, vehicles, circle of death, day and night cycle system, dynamic weather, player vitals, hunting and foraging, and more zombies than you can probably handle. But speaking of Landmark, as of early last week, the dev team on Landmark introduced PvE into the game, and with this update, the cave system is being expanded upon, and true layers are finally making their way into the game. So just below the surface, players are able to explore 5 layers filled with underground caves, and most of these caves are filled with 5 new types of monsters, some of which have never been seen before. Each one of these monsters will have a unique mode of attack and strategies to learn, and there'll be plenty more underground where treasure is hidden than above ground, as you can probably imagine. This is actually one beefy update, to be honest. There are several new weapons to craft or loot, collectible recipes that can be looted from monsters, changes to the teleport system have been made, and since you'll be dying more, you can experience graveyards, which is a system that allows you to respawn within the underground layers. And there's even more than that, so be sure to catch all the details from the news post at MMOHuts.com. Other than a few awesome holiday events and half-off sales, Marvel Heroes 2015 introduced Venom as the newest playable villain. And of course, he fights like a badass. As you might be able to tell from this new trailer here, he is all about the explosive AoE. Well, either way, he looks OP. He launched with his traditional skin, of course, but also a rare anti-Venom skin that looks pretty awesome if you ask me. Also early last week, Team Fortress 2 introduced the new beta game mode called Mannpower mode, which is a capture the flag-like game mode with grappling hooks and 9 different types of power-ups, currently playable in modified versions of Capture the Flag Foundry and Capture the Flag Gorge maps. Mannpower mode alters a few game rules, as you can imagine. For one, random critical hits have been disabled. Additionally, teams won't be able to capture the flag unless their flag is at your base. The grappling hook is available to all classes in this mode to get around the map a lot quicker in most cases, and the 9 power-up boosts available include Strength, Resistance, Vampire, Warlock, Haste, Regeneration, Precision, Agility, and Critical Hit. That's one of the reasons why the random critical hits have been disabled, with more of these on the way, of course. Anyone playing Team Fortress 2 is able to try out this new game mode by enabling the Play Beta Maps checkbox in the Play Multiplayer option. More news came in for the Korean closed beta of Tree of Savior, and the first big news is that Nexon has confirmed that the game will in fact be free to play with optional microtransactions and no premium sub model whatsoever, which is great news for a lot of fans of the game. So as of now, the Korean closed beta is accepting applicants until January 11th, and now they've upped the number of testers to 3,000 from the 1,000 originally. The testers for the closed beta will be announced on the 14th, and the test will start on the 15th. Players will be limited to only 28 of the 80 available classes in the game, with the max level cap of 60. 28 of 80. Well, it still seems like you're gonna have a lot to do. Hopefully some of you guys will be part of the first 3,000, as we'll probably start to call them, but unfortunately, they've also announced a strict NDA, so it might be a little while before we see some new gameplay. Our last bit of news also has to do with another Nexon run anime action MMORPG called Closers. And this game has recently hit open beta in Korea as well, and features fast-paced action PvE and PvP, completely voiced NPC interactions, an evolutionary skill and stat system, and of course tons and tons of combos. Looks like a really awesome anime dungeon crawler to me. But this is another one that is great news for those in the area that can actually play the open beta, but for the rest of us in the US and Europe, we probably have a while to wait. But in the meantime, if you're looking to learn a bit more in the game, there's a nice closed beta review written up by our friends over at Steparu, so check that out from the link in the description below. And that's about all the major MMO news and announcements for this short holiday week. I have a feeling that next week's recap may be a bit short too. Either way, gamers, keep having a fun and wonderful holiday season, and like always, you can pick up more information about the news featured in the recap from the links in the description below, or get even more news at MMOHuts.com/news. Feel free to discuss the news in the comments below, or head over to MMOHuts.com/forums, and until next time, guys, that's going to be it for me. I'm James Blonde. See you next year, gamers.